Hey everyone, it's Greg from Stationery Shenanigans. In this video, I'm going to share my setup I have for my long-form journaling. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with what I'm calling long-form journaling, to me that's kind of like the traditional diary, whether you write something about you did that day, or you're working through a problem, or something you just want to think about while you're writing. It is true pen to paper in a notebook. I separate that from when I say journaling in terms of like traveler's notebooks, because for me, that's kind of the main version of journaling, because I love my traveler's notebook. I love doing my weekly drawings. I love writing about my travels. While I do incorporate a lot of personal things into that journaling, of course, this is a little bit different. This is for when I'm trying to figure out what to do about a situation, what changes I want to make in my life, and those kind of things. So it's much more personal. And I call it LFJ for short, long form journaling. So over the past few weeks, I've been really diving into it a little bit more as I'm going through some different changes in my life. This has been really helpful to write about it, and I'm going to share what I've been doing. So I've been using a Galen leather portfolio to kind of organize everything, and it's worked out tremendously. I wanted to wait a while to make this video because I didn't want to share what setup was working for me, and then it turns out it didn't actually work. So I wanted to spend a few weeks to use this setup, take it along with me, and see how far I went with it, and I'm going to continue using it, so it worked out well. I don't always keep it in this Galen leather bag. The reason why it's in it right now is because my whole apartment is completely packed up, and I'm moving in a few days. And I wanted to just protect the leather a little bit with things moving around and boxes and all that stuff. So when I take this out to cafes or the library, I don't necessarily always have it in this bag. So let's go ahead and open it up. And here we have the A5 Galen leather zip portfolio that I had purchased in person at the DC Pen Show last August. So green is my favorite color, and I just love this green. It's what I wanted, and when I saw it, I knew I had to get it. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up. And this is exactly how I've been using it over the past few weeks, and I want to walk through each item to kind of like explain it, just in case you needed a little inspiration or you're just plain interested to see what other people use. I know, and a lot of times I just want to see what you all are using, just because to me it's interesting. So over here I keep the notebook, and for this journaling I have been using this Stalogy. I think it's B6 Plus. I'm terrible with page sizing, so I apologize. This is the editor series. I believe it's B6 Plus in the grid paper that has the dates you circle at the top. I love the quality of this paper. I've only been using fountain pens thus far. Part of my long form journaling kind of thing was I really would like to use fountain pens and just take my time with writing, not really thinking about how it looks, which again, this is what's different from when I'm doing journaling in my traveler's notebook, because we do care about how it appears, we care about the artistic value of it, all that kind of stuff when you look back at it later. Not to say that I won't look back at my long form journaling entries, but it's more of what your mind is processing in the moment as you're writing it. So if I sit down and I start to write about a decision, after a few pages, by the time I'm done writing, it helped me make up my mind. So maybe I will go back and take a look later, be like, oh yeah, that's how I made up my mind. But in this case, it's more just like a working notebook. It's not necessarily something that's going to be shared down the line. So I'm not going to show the pages because it contains things that are, deeply personal. I'm just going to do a quick flip through. And then I did want to demonstrate at the back. One thing I figured about this is that for the first dozen pages or so, I was writing within each line, and it is really tight. I write in cursive when I use a fountain pen. I think my handwriting is probably average size, I'm not sure. But after a while, I felt my hand cramping up because I was fitting everything into those tight lines. So I decided to switch it up and try doing every other line. And while it's helping me write faster and think faster, I think I'm going to keep doing this for a while, but it does make it a little bit more messy looking. But again, the goal of long form journaling is to focus on the content and not the appearance. So that's the notebook I've been using so far. We're going to keep using it, but I am open to suggestions. If anyone has any specific notebook they like to use in their Galen leather portfolio, I would love to hear below. So that's what I keep in here. I don't always write on the portfolio. Usually I take the notebook out, put this to the side, and keep this on the desktop because this isn't a flat surface. But there was a few times that I wanted to quickly take my portfolio out of the bag at like a coffee shop and just write like 1 or 2 paragraphs, and I didn't have a lot of table space, and this felt fine. So that's one of the nice things about the portfolio is you can just take your notebook in and out of it. I do have a pencil board back here. I cannot for the life of me remember if this is Kokio or something. Obviously it's a little bit bigger than the B6 Plus size. I believe this is A5, but I just wanted to have something in here in case there was a scenario where I wanted to use a pencil board, but I have not been using it. It just currently lives in here. I don't have anything on the keychain. We'll work from the back. So one thing about my long form journaling is I do kind of want to create this like ambiance, so I put some things in here that I just like here is a bookmark from Kinokuniya. This is just some note pages just from random notepads I've had. This is a postcard from the paper Seahorse that I like, and this is just some blank pages of Tomoe River paper, and I wanted to have this in here in case I'm out somewhere and I have to write something down and give it to a person or whatnot. So I just have them there in the back. Then in the top left, I have 2 Instax pictures that I really like. This is a bench at a park that I like to go walking at, and I just like having it there, and I just put it out kind of while I'm journaling, and it just kind of inspires me a little bit. And then this is a picture I took of my feet as I'm walking through the park, just to kind of remind me of those moments and where I could be going. I also keep some of my business cards in here, just for, again, God forbid I lose this or I leave it at a coffee shop or something, to have some contact info in there, something to connect me with it. And then also if I ever needed to give it to someone. And then I do keep just some simple square post-it notes in there. Haven't used them in the notebook, but sometimes when I'm out, I like to, and I remember something, I just jot it down on a post-it note to put in my planner later or put it in my wallet. Or if you needed to write something down on a post-it note to give it to someone else, I mean, they are truly valuable. So we have here the removable pen pocket. I have a Delphonics wooden ballpoint pen in here. I just was going for this like nature feeling, and I love the way this smells and feels because it's that natural wood. And then another pencil, or this is a pencil, yes, from Oto, that looks like a wooden pencil, and it's green. And then a gray mild liner is something I pretty much always have on hand because they're so useful both as a highlighter or just a marker. So I keep those in there. And then as I'm journaling, I have not come to the point where I want to use whiteout, but I do keep a small correction tape in here just in case. Because like I said, the purpose of the long form journaling is not necessarily thinking about how it looks. So when I'm writing, I'll just scribble something out and keep going. And then I just keep a little wooden paper clip here because you can never not use a paper clip. And then the main event are the 2 fountain pens, and these are what I've been using exclusively in my journal. The first one is my Tatcha fountain pen that is filled with the Sailor Blue ink, which is a little darker than I would have liked, but I wanted to try it. And then lately I've been using this Platinum PREFOUNTE fountain pen with the brown, I believe it's the Schaefer ink that's in here. That's been writing very well for me. So that's it. I've been using fountain pens exclusively. It's also a nice way to just focus on one thing, just using your fountain pens, writing, and not muddling it up. You see I have no washi tape here, I have no stickers. I really want to focus on the writing aspect of this, which was my goal, and it's been working out well. So that is my little setup. Let me know in the comments below if you kind of have a different journal style, between like long form journaling or traveler's notebook journaling, or you do like recipe, cooking journaling, meal prep, all that stuff. I will see you next time. Take care.